question many are asking, if several studies now suggest Omicron is less severe, then why are doctors still recommending a booster shot? Our Lauren Clark here in the studio now. And Lauren, first of all, how many Americans have the booster?
Well, Marie, 62 million, or about 33% of those who are already fully vaccinated, according to the CDC. And doctors suggest these numbers should be higher ahead of rising cases fueled by the Omicron variant. They say this will help slow down its incredible speed and keep more people out of the hospital. By now, there's several studies suggesting Omicron is less severe. So why then the push for the booster shots? First, Omicron has the ability to evade immunity. One UK study suggests it whittles down protection from a 2-shot vaccine series to 40%. But as Dr. Anthony Fauci explains, the booster really helps.
When you get to Omicron, the protection significantly goes down. But the good news is when you boost someone, it goes right back up.
And that makes a difference, he says, in vulnerable populations like the immunocompromised and the elderly.
We've seen that those who are boosted, even if they become infected, typically are either asymptomatic or have very mild symptoms that last a short period of time.
And that's a big deal, says Dr. Christina Madison with Roseman University, considering the variant's rapid spread.
We want to slow or in some instances stop transmission of Omicron.
And Dr. Madison says one way to slow it down is to prevent it from finding an effective host.
Even though vaccinated individuals, if they become infected, can still spread the infection, they spread at a much lower rate than those who are unvaccinated or have had natural immunity due to infection.
She warns that it can be tempting for young people to not worry about Omicron with less severe disease. But she points out that we still don't know how it'll impact our hospital systems and that the effects of long-haul COVID are still unknown too.
We may be done with this virus. This virus is not done with us.
And this right here is another example. This is from a prominent doctor within New York City where the Omicron variant is exploding there. He notes a big difference in the severity of illness depending on what kinds of shots those patients have had. The best in shape are patients with all 3 shots, who says mainly just have a sore throat, followed by those who have 2 shots. He says the worst off by far are those who are unvaccinated.
So the differences in the variants, and again, reiterating that need for that extra dose.
Definitely.
Of course, has been again tracking those airport cancellations since Christmas Eve, and he's detailing now the continued impact for travelers coming through Las Vegas.
Since Friday, the flight cancellations have continued stacking up. It's a snowball or domino effect. As flights cancel, crews and planes are out of place around the country. That forces even more flights to cancel.
You know, whether that be weather or staffing issues or, you know, really just all of those issues coming together this past weekend. But a lot of cancellations.
Last week, many major airlines preemptively announcing flight cancellations around the country with staffing issues as crews got sick with COVID. Here in Las Vegas, over 200 flights affected through Monday.
You know, luckily, we haven't seen the lines be too long here. The airlines have done, for their part, a really great job of reaching out to people well in advance.
Despite airline attempts to notify customers ahead of time, some passengers say they're still getting caught off guard arriving to the airport.
We got to the place to drop the bags, and we said, okay, this is our information. And the guy started looking in and said, well, I can't see you, Mr. Williams. I don't see you in there. So I said, well, what are you talking about? I looked down at my phone, and the flight had been canceled.
After being delayed a full day, Joel Williams says his Monday evening flight from Seattle to Las Vegas canceled again with no warning just before boarding. He wants better communication from the airlines.
Hopefully, airlines can be more transparent with respect to what's going on with respect to the cancellations.
Allegiant Airlines telling News 3 the COVID staffing shortages are not only affecting air carriers, but also TSA and air traffic controllers as well.
Some of the airlines are telling me that they expect to continue canceling flights throughout the week, so it is highly recommended that you do check the status of your flight before heading to the airport, just in case.
The officials out at Harry Reid are urging travelers to arrive at least 2 hours before their flights at this point. Let's get over to News 3's Brett Forrest, live now from Terminal 1. Oh, what a day, what a few days it's been out there, Brett.
Yeah, Jim, absolutely. I was here Friday covering the cancellations when they first began, and it seems like it's almost gotten worse at this point, and that's because of the domino effect. As flights cancel, planes and crews are out of place around the country, and that's forcing more cancellations. So here at the Harry Reid Airport, at last check, they are showing 45 flights canceled today alone. That's 30 departures and 15 arrivals, and almost 15 departures canceled yesterday. Like you said, Jim, combination of bad weather and continued staffing shortages. Airlines canceling flights because their crews testing positive for COVID are having to quarantine. Alaska Airlines tells me their hold times for rebooking are up to 11 hours right now, and United telling me only 50% of those affected have arrived at their destination early or within 4 hours of the original booking. And the airlines are saying they're communicating ahead of time if a flight's canceled, but not everyone says that's the case. One passenger trying to get to Las Vegas tells me he's been delayed in Seattle for a full day now, and he's actually not too happy with how it's played out.
We got to the place to drop the bags, and we said, okay, this is our information. And the guy started looking in and said, well, I can't see you, Mr. Williams. I don't see you in there. So I said, well, what are you talking about? I looked down at my phone, and the flight had been canceled. Hopefully, airlines can be more transparent with respect to what's going on with respect to the cancellations.
And Jim, it might seem obvious at this point, but the airport is telling people to check their flight status ahead of time before coming down here so they're not caught off guard like Mr. Williams was and discover their flights canceled once they're here. Stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated on any more flight cancellations as they are continuing to pour in here at the airport.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan from News 3 Las Vegas. We want to thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Remember, you can always see more of our videos by clicking on the video links. And also don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our YouTube updates. Thanks for watching.